And let's start with the basic of JavaScript.
Sure.
Uh, uh, for JavaScript is synchronous or asynchronous? What do you say?
It's a synchronous by default.
Okay, and how we do the async programming in JavaScript?
Okay. So to make it work as a asynchronous language, we use multiple. This is multiple what we can call it. The things exist in the JavaScript like the promises and the async await and this chaining promisified. All these things we use to make it asynchronous code so that we can execute our other line of code while behind the scene they code like they got executed and suppose we are calling an API and we don't want the rest of the code to wait for that specific response to come and then we will proceed further, then we will use that async await for that, and then other piece of code will keep on working, and when we get the result of that API, that will be stored in a value and we can use that data as we want, but without
Okay.
blocking the entire thread. As we know, that's a single threaded language.
Okay. What do you mean by callbacks? What is
Uh,
callback?
call- okay, callbacks is a function which we pass in another function as an argument.
Mm-hmm.
So callback, what we say that suppose we are asking we are calling a function and within that we are passing an argument. Suppose we are passing an arrow function within it. So that arrow function will be named as callback function, and we can return a function. We can pass it as an argument. So all this thing what we do is called a callback function. Passes an argument.
Oh, okay. And why we use the callback in programming?
Okay, so callback functions are in JavaScript is generally to retrieve the responses. Suppose we are running a process and we want a response to be captured in that specific function, and then we can do some kind of some kind of operation in it. Then we will pass a callback within that argument, and we will expect a response from it.
Okay. Mm, okay, go on.
So like we know that the callback is a major issues as we know about the callback hell which was created, and so currently we generally avoid using callback and we rely on the promises and async await, and promises is also a higher priority as compared to callback because of the
Okay.
microtask queue, you know. So that's the process.
Okay. And why do you say the promise is better than callback?
First thing was that the callback create a callback hell, and its priority is also lies as compared to promise. So suppose we are using a promisified functions that will be in the microtask queue, while the callback function will be in the callback queue. So and JavaScript give priority to microtask queue, so it will be more efficient and more fast as compared to the callback.
Mm-hmm.
So is the reason,
Okay.
and it's also make the code cleaner.
Okay. What do you mean by promise chaining?
Promise chain is like a suppose I applied a promise to a API call and I'm expecting a response from it. Then I will put a dot then. In dot then I will get a response. And if I want a further response on that one, suppose another processing is going on, I will put another then, and at the end I will put a catch in which if there will be an error, it will broke somewhere, the code will broke somewhere, then it will be handled by that catch 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 chaining,
Okay.
and so that's how it work.
Can you give me any example? How will you handle that errors by the catch block?
So yeah, sure. Suppose how I will handle the catch response.
Yes.
So to handle the catch response, I can simply like dot catch, and there will be the error. Within the arrow function, I will use that error either to log that error or to display it somewhere.
Okay. That's the only use of catch block.
No. Catch blocks are sometimes suppose
I'm
we are
generally
expecting.
asking, what do you mean by handling the error? As a developer, how you handle the error in catch block?
Yes. So suppose I'm handling an error and I can
Mhm.
do a process on it. Depends on the application actually. Suppose
Okay.
we are expecting that error would be like that, and then we can do the processing after it. Even we can write the code in the catch block if you want it. It's all
Okay.
depend on the application.
Okay. Have you ever used finally keyword?
Yes, I used. Yes.
Okay.
Finally is used when the either the promisified is successful or failed, rejected. Both the
Okay.
cases finally will work. That's why we use finally, so we can do the final execution of our code, whatever we want to do with that specific training process.
Can you give any scenario in which you have used finally?
Sure, like I can give an example. Suppose
Okay.
uh, I'm expecting an I'm running an API and I'm
Mm-hmm.
expecting whether it will be passed or it will fail. Then only I'm not. I'm just creating in a scenario. I'm not remembering what
Okay.
where
Okay.
I've used.
Okay.
So in that case, suppose I'm getting an error out of it, and I want if that API fails, you I want that. Suppose I'm getting a getting an array of users. So I will put a dummy data, or I will put something like to display to the user instead of showing a blank screen. So in that case, I will use the finally to put it thing instead of just putting the blank error, put it showing the error instead, or breaking the app in between. In that case, I will use the finally statement. Finally.
Okay. And any other usage?
Any other uses like I like I don't know. Instead of that, I
Okay.
think a finally is only used for with that them only like then catch and finally.
No, no issues. What do you mean by promise.all?
Okay, so Promise.all is like a suppose I want three promises to run, and
Mm-hmm.
I will make an array out of I will make an array. I will put three promises in it with Promise.all. What it will do, if either one of them is rejected, and
Oh,
then entire promise will be rejected. Promise entire response will be rejected, and if
okay.
all them will be passed, then only that will be considered as a promises resolved. Otherwise, it will be considered as rejected.
Okay. And whenever we use the promise.all, uh, can you explain how will this all the promises are executed?
Sure. Suppose we created three time set
Okay.
timeout. Sorry. So suppose I have created for 3 millisecond, 3 second, 5 second, and 2 seconds. All will take different time. One will be slow, one will be fast. So I've created a three promise. I will put them like promise dot all within an array. Array. I will put the three promises instruction, three promises variable which I've created. Then I will wait for, and I will put the then and catch. Then all of them together, they will wait for all of them to execute to complete. Suppose there will be a two,
Uh,
3, and 5 seconds. So 2 second will be first,
I'm
then three, then
I'm
five. Okay.
I'm asking that how will that execution is done? Their all API will be executed one by one, or
Okay. You're asking that. So yeah, it promise execute one by one in parallelly actually. In parallel, they run one by one and
if
get
they
combined.
execute? Wait a
Suppose
minute.
let me explain. I understand your question. Let me explain.
Oh,
So suppose there is a, like I said, there's a set time out of 2 second, 3 second, 5 second. So first
mhm.
2 second is done, then 3 second will have left 1 second only because 2 second will be covered in that one, so it will run in parallel.
Oh,
And then 5 second, then 3 second is already done because 2 and 3 is done, so it will only wait for 2 second more. So they run in parallel, all the three promises
so you are telling that it will not execute one by one, but it will execute it parallelly.
together. Yes.
Okay. Suppose we have such scenario that we have given five Fate API as a promises and
Okay.
use promise.all. Now, out of them, one API is failed, but two API is executed successfully. And I want that result of that two APIs. Then how can I get that response?
Okay, in that case, I think we should not use promise.all. We should use
Okay.
promise.any. And
Promise.any.
promise.any is like a, and there's are other as well, promise.settled. It's even better. Promise.settle work like that. If it doesn't matter whether whether the promise will be rejected or resolved, it will eventually will result will be there, and it will eventually give you the result. So if one of the APIs is failed and the other two will be settled, then in that case it will give you the result. Even one is failed, but
Can
it
you
will
tell
not
me
happen in case of promise.all.
can you tell me the difference between Promise.any and Promise.all settle?
Promise.settled, sure. Promise.settled means that it will work for the settlement. Suppose there is a promise, the promise either will be resolved or will be rejected. It all depends on of the piece of code. Okay, so in promise.settled will work like that. It will wait for that promise to either settled or resolved. It doesn't matter. It will not stop the execution if one of them is failed. Suppose there are three promises and one is failed, two is resolved, then it will keep on working. You keep on going with the other promises. But in the case of promise.all, it will even one promise is rejected, then all promise will be rejected.
Okay, can you tell me that how will we get response of Promise.all settle?
Promise.all in promise.all you will get the response in then scope, and so just like that you will get in case of promise.all, if the rejected it will be in the catch block, while in the case of
No, no,
promise.settled, if it
I'm asking the response of Promise.all settled. How will we get the response of Promise.all settled?
the response will be in the then catch, it will return.
No, no, I'm asking that you just mentioned that by using Promise.all settle, we can get the API response either successful we or is rejected state, right?
Yes.
So how can we know that this API, this particular response is fetched successfully, this particular response is uh, given error?
Okay.
First of all, tell me what Promise.all settled uh, give as a response. How the response will look like.
So in case of promise.all, it response will be like that, like a error response just we get in catch block.
Are you sure?
Yes, in dot catch we get the error when one of the promise dot is rejected.
But you just mentioned that if we use Promise.all settled up,
No,
either
I'm talking about promise.all.
I'm asking about Promise.all settled.
All settled. Okay. In case of all settled, it will either return a response in catch or then, but it will keep on executing. I'm saying that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Now let's suppose we have user is giving us some CSV, and out of the CSV we process that CSV and make some SQL queries for inserting some document into the table.
Okay.
Now we not limiting the CSV file size, and we are saving the queries using Promise.all.
Mhm.
So we uh, perform the all the promise. Suppose we make the 1,000 queries. It is good practice to use Promise.all in that case.
I think in that case, if you are running 100 APIs, 100 calls you are doing,
Mhm.
I don't think it's a good practice because either one of them is failed, then it won't execute the other operation or other queries. If all the queries are important for us, like we want all the queries to work, and if we want that, either if one of them is rejected, we need to do it again, then it's a good practice. Otherwise, it's not.
Okay. And uh, what will it, what issues cause from the server side? Basically, I'm asking the drawback of promise.
Drawback of promises.
Hmm.
Okay. So promises is like suppose promise and async await are like very similar, but it's a different of syntax actually. So
Okay.
promise, but what drawback you're asking promises is like, uh, let me tell you just a minute. So drawback of promises is like, if there will be too, like if there will be too much promises, suppose, then the main thread might get blocked because the microtask queue will be filled with promises. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a I think there's the only one issue, cons of using promises. If you are using too much promises on the same, then it might block the execution. Because
Okay.
if suppose I'm resolving a promise, and within a promise within there is another promise, but we call it nesting of promises. Then in that specific scenario, there will be a promise hell. Promise hell is also created in that promise, in that scenario, when there will be nesting of promises. So in that case, the main execution can block and the microtask queue can block, because keep on going. And uh, that is the only con which of promise, I think.
Okay. Have you heard about observables?
Yes, yes, I've heard about observable. Yes,
How
observable is also having high priority, like just like promises.
okay? How observables are different from promises?
Uh, I don't know much about observable. I've never used it. I just know that observable are like to monitor the it monitor the, like, the efficiency of the app. I think that I've never used it observable, but I think
Okay.
that's
Okay. Suppose I have mentioned you that earlier that we building some feature in which a user is uploading some CSV and we are processing that CSV.
okay.
Now we are not limiting that size of CSV. So it how tell me that how will you approach to process that CSV? Uh, I
Okay.
mean I mean you process whole CSV at once, or what approaches do you make?
So there's a concept called chunking, to create a chunk of stream, and
Okay,
we can use that. Just a minute. So we can use that. So to create a chunks, instead of doing it all at once, we will do it in a place of chunks using a stream.
okay. And how streams will give benefit?
Stream just give benefit just like that. Suppose I'm processing an entire file which is of
Okay,
very big size, suppose 1 GB, even
okay,
1 TB file. Suppose then it will like, if we execute the entire file once for all, then it will be difficult for the our server to execute it. And in when we use streams are specifically designed to work in chunks. It divide the execution specifically for PDF audio files. They divide it into chunks, and then it will process it and write. Suppose we are reading and writing at the same time,
okay,
or we are reading and then we're waiting for write. There are other features that provide reading, writing, and duplex
okay.
also, read and write at the same time. And there's a concept of
Suppose,
pipe and posing in it. So suppose in stream we have the entire process is built to handle this kind of things. To you, so suppose we are reading a PDF file of, suppose we are reading a video PDF or audio or video file of that big size. It will pick up small chunks, and it will write on that specific file and do a process, step by step, just like a chunk in a chunks. So it will be easy for the server to handle it, and it will be easy for us to work on it. And it also provide other benefit like posing. Suppose we are reading the file very fast but we are writing very slow, then it will use that feature of posing within a stream. So I think that's a really good feature of that stream. So I think we can use that. And even one thing I want to add, like, there's a concept called clustering.
okay,
I would love to add that too in that specific thing, because in clustering what we do, we will use the entire number of CPUs present in our system. Suppose there is a 16 cores, so we will divide the processes, and at the same time other execution won't be blocked, and that one event will be taken care of that stream, entirely, and the other will be taking care of the other processes which are going on the server side. So
Okay,
I think
so
that that will be the great approach if we use that combined together.
you are implying to use distributive algorithms, right?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, have you ever worked with clouds?
Sir, actually, I've worked with AWS S3.
Okay,
In our last product, we use S3 to store our image files and video files. But I specifically never worked on the AWS. I really want to. I'm studying on my side, but I'm not getting a project with on that. So if I get a chance, I will definitely want to work on that, even learn that thing by my own.
okay, okay. Uh, can you tell me the earlier you were telling me that promises and async await are a bit different.
Sure, sure. So async await is like it looks different to the person who are dealing with it, but behind the scene it worked entirely different. What we see in async await is that async it make a function async. First of all, it won't work on the synchronous function. But in the
Okay,
case of we put it await, but we people think that await will be, it means that it will be waiting for it. It seems like it's waiting for that promise to that API, that suppose that statement is API call, and API is waiting for that to resolve, then only it will move to the second line. Actually, it's not blocking the not blocking the thread. It looks like, it seems like it's blocking the, but it's behind the scene. It comes, the thread will come at that place when only the execution is done. So async await is used. There's a two different application for async await and promises. Let me tell you, if we are relying on the final result, suppose I'm calling an API and I want the final result I want the final result. Suppose I'm extracting the pair. I'm extracting the list of users. I'm getting a array. I just want that. That's only my concern. Then I will use the async await, because that final product, final return, final response is my destiny. So what will I do? I will use async await, and that code will be cleaner, much cleaner. But in case of promises, why will we use the promises instead of async await? We have two choices, right? So in case of promises, suppose I'm relying on every step in which I want to do some execution. I want to write. I want to extract something from that, and each step I want something to do. Then I will prefer promises, because then I will use then in multiple cases, the then will be the response will be there, and we'll do some operation with that response. Then I will do some operation with another response. So in that case, I will use the promises. Otherwise, I want the only for final product, final data, piece of data, then I will use the async await. And it also make my clean code much cleaner as compared to the promises.
okay. Have you ever used hoisting?
Hoisting.
Hmm.
You mean hoisting, right? Yes. Yes, I have used hoisting. So hoisting is a thing in JavaScript in which what we know is hoisting, that it will declare the variable at the initial of starting of app. Actually, it's different for let, const, and where. So what we when we declare a variable in where, what we get is that variable is undefined. Suppose we are using a variable before its declaration, so it will return that the variable is undefined in case of where. So where is different, hosting is different for where. But in case of let const, it will say it is not defined. Why? Because we know that unless until the let and const got declared, we assigned some value in that. Till that case, they are in the temporal dead zone. There's a concept called temporal dead zone, that unless until we provide a value to it, it will be in the temporal dead zone. So it will result it's not defined. But in case of where, there's no temporal dead zone, so it will be declared as it will be declared as undefined, because value is not assigned to it, but we can still access it. It
Okay.
won't return any error. Yeah.
And what about the functional hosting?
Function hosting is work similar to let and const and where. Suppose we are we if we are we, there's two way to host a function. Suppose we are using we are simply using a function statement, and we are assigning a value. Suppose we are using a where a is equal to function, and that entire definition. There are two way. So in the one way is in which we put the variable in, put the function in variable. It will work same as like the where let and const I've just described. And in case of function hosting, function is hosting. We can access the function before its declaration. Function hosting is possible.
Can you share your screen, please?
Sure.